Earlier today, I released a video talking about some of the things that I've been seeing discussed as far as the police were concerned. Now, one of the comments that I've already gotten on that video, first thing, you do know that riot cops are just cops who volunteer. They're regular cops who volunteer to go to riots. Well, if you do a simple search on that and ask, are riot cops regular cops? It pops immediately up. In some cases, yes. In other cases, they are a specially trained division of the police force. But that really doesn't matter. If you listened to everything that I actually said in the previous video, I explained one, if it's a volunteer system, or two, whether it's a job you can apply for as a division like detective or whatever. Who's gonna want that job? Who wants the job of being right there in the middle of the potential riot zone, or having to even go in and bust up protests, which then could turn into violence? Who the hell wants that job? As I expressed, one, because of today's climate with the police, you don't have as many of those calm, cool, level headed folk applying because a lot of them understand how dangerous the situation out there is for cops today and they don't want the job. They'd rather take the chance to keep themselves alive for their family's sake, whatever and whatever, and find something else to do. Security, whatever. But they don't want to put their life in such a dangerous situation, or their family may not want them to do it, and so they just don't pursue it. So that's already one issue with a lot of the cops you're getting in today's world. A lot of what you're getting, because of the way the climate is right now, is, as I expressed, those gung-ho people itching for a fight. That's what you're getting a lot of. So again, I ask, even if it is a complete voluntary system for riots, that regular cops volunteer to riot gear up, who the hell's volunteering for that job? You think that calm, cool, level-headed guy who wants to go home to his family at the end of the night is itching for that job? You think the guy that doesn't want to have to get physical with someone, that he's just begging and pleading to sign up for that job? No. But I can tell you who is. The people who are getting in that are itching for a fight. That's what they went to work there for. So again, the issue is reforming the police system. Here's the thing, when you called for gun control, you wanted better mental background checks, right? Yet people seem to be completely jumping that step, calling for better mental background checks and mental evaluations. Not mental background checks, but they wanted better background checks for guns. Better mental evaluations of who you're letting into the police force and whatnot, okay? So they seem to be bypassing things like this, okay? And just going to straight to eliminate all the police. Eliminate the police. We don't need police around. I said in the last video, you're not going to win a majority of the country with a stance like that. We are in a bad way right now, but we're not there. We are not there. And the reason I know we're not there is because people that are acting like they want this anarchist revolution have no clue what they're doing with an anarchist revolution. They're not going about it the proper way. When they hit a target and burn it to the ground, it's something that didn't even have anything to do with their problem. That's not how a real revolution is successful, first of all. Again, read your history. So, you're not to this point. And once again, people are supporting these peaceful protests, but for all the violent ones, they want it to be toned down. I promise you, here's the problem, and this is the issue with Twitter. Because then I read a tweet from the Jesse Ventura account, where he and Brigida Santos want to know, if we get rid of the police forces, what are we going to replace them with? And so I just clicked on the tweet to read through what people were replying. This, to me, is an utter representation of why Twitter is not a good representation of the rest of America. And a good case point of that, as I pointed out multiple times, Tulsi Gabbard was talked about on Twitter a lot. My mother did not know who she was till I told her. Twitter does not represent the rest of the country, and you need to realize that. That's number one. But when I read through what the response was, I keep seeing all this stuff about trained therapists and blah, 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 blah. Now, I say that way. I don't want to discredit where maybe there could be some changes in certain areas where that might be a better system, but I would not delete the police force in the majority of cases to do things such as that. You need the police around, period. There needs to be some reform on the system without a doubt, but you need the police. Okay? I don't want to call the therapist when someone vandalized my property. I don't want to call the therapist or the professional, Dr. Phil type guy. Nor do I want to call the ex-violent criminal who's unarmed walking around the communities. I don't want that crap. When my identity gets stolen, that's a nonviolent crime. And in today's world with computers, things like that are becoming more and more frequent. I don't want that. Guess what? A lot of other people don't want that. You will without a doubt never win right-wingers over with that kind of an argument. You're not going to win a lot of independents over with that argument. That argument is going to resonate with one group of folks and one group of folks only, left-wingers. And they're going to be pretty far out in the left wing. And the only other people that are going to enjoy it are people that genuinely don't like police for whatever reason. But the majority of the country is not going to agree to that. Let's come to facts with it. Reading that, though, here's what I will say in this little quick video. This honestly worries me. If we have shifted so far from talking about the things that really do matter for jobs and things like that for blue collar people in the country, getting better health care, if we've shifted from that to not actually calling for reforms that would make the law enforcement community better, to now just calling for complete abolishment and trying to go into this radical style of not having the police at all and having all this heard of just community policing themselves and direct democracies where people vote on how situations are handled in between people. First of all, this sounds like we're going back to a time period where we were actually not so civilized before we actually had police to take care of these issues. You're actually taking a step in a way back when you start doing stuff like that. And the rule of law completely goes out the window. You don't have to agree with me, but that's my take on this. The fix is to reform the police system. And again, turn this country back in a way where we're not so much of a police state as we've become thanks to the Democrats and the Republicans. But everybody just bypass the fact that these politicians have created this system with the police department. Bypass that fact entirely and just tell us we need to get rid of the police with this new radical style. No. You're not going to win the majority of the country right now with an argument like that, first and foremost. It's not going to get over. It's going to get over in the Twitter community, and that's about it. So, here's my final takeaway on this. If this is where the left now wants to pull positions to abolish law enforcement altogether, not address the problem, not try to reform law enforcement, but just get rid of them and institute these ideas that sound absolutely knuckenfuts to a guy like me, We are headed toward a cliff at 90 miles an hour if this is where we're going. Here's what's going to happen. Eventually, one day, that might come into play. Because now, if this is where the left shifts their attention, instead of things that they can get a majority of Americans behind, and now they take this position, you'll not get it across, at least not until we are in a bad predicament in this country. Here's what's going to happen first. You will continue to get your corporate candidates like Joe Biden. You will continue to get Trumps and corporate Republicans, Democrats and Republicans, back and forth. They will keep screwing the country up. They will keep causing problems. They will keep passing bad bills. They will keep robbing Main Street to give to Wall Street. They will keep doing these problems till the country has literally gone into the dumper. The fucking shitter. Okay? They're literally going to keep it up till it gets that bad. And then people will possibly be so disarrayed because the country will be an absolute mess that they might go along with it. And then when that happens, we're already going to be in disarray. At that point, in my opinion, is when the inmates are going to run the asylum for sure in this country and stick a fork in us because we're fucking done at that point. This country will be absolutely toast. And if it ever does come back, it will literally be like a phoenix having to rise from the ashes. But I don't think it will be any semblance of the America that a lot of people thought we were supposed to be, which is home of the free, land of the brave. We will not look anything like that American dream style thing, which is what I want this country to work towards. I want it to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. I want it to be where that American dream is possible. But I want it to be that way for everyone, of all colors. And the way to do that is to actually address your problem and fix those issues. This fringe talk shit, burning down stores that had nothing to do with George Floyd, eliminating the police department because in Minnesota, remember where the George Floyd issue happened, in Minnesota, they don't even use an actual police academy. They use colleges and universities to do the training, and then they put you on the police force that way, instead of using a police academy. That's dumb. That's absolutely dumb. There, for one, should most certainly be a police academy. Ventura brought that point up on his show. So there most certainly should be a police academy. Likewise, we should start really vetting who tries to join the police departments. I don't want that violent, hungry, gung-ho nut who wants to draw a gun and cause harm and damage just because he thinks it's fucking fun. I don't want that guy on the police force. But that doesn't mean I need to abolish the entire police force to get rid of them. And if that's where people are headed towards mentally, all I can say is this, that this country is screwed. Because we are going to have a big problem on our hands. There's nothing being done to solve the problems. And the people who are complaining about the problems in these Twitter communities right now, when I see stuff like that, just like those rioters that burned down the O'Reillys, you're not actually going after the problem. You're complaining about a problem, and rather than hit it at its actual root, just get rid of the whole thing. Just tear it all down and start something entirely different from scratch instead of address the actual problem. That would be like saying if there was a cancer inside your body, okay, instead of operating to try to remove that cancer, because it was, let's say there was a cancer, even though I know this is unlikely. Well, I'll tell you what, instead of saying a limb, how about there is a cancer on, I don't know, your kidney, right? And I'm no surgical doctor here. But let's say they go in to try to perform surgery and remove a cancer. Rather than remove the cancer, what everyone's advocating for right now is basically they just go in and remove every damn thing. Let's just kill you and take out your heart, your lungs, your kidney, your gallbladder, and your liver, and your stomach. take your intestines out while we're at it too. Just remove every damn thing and kill you instead of actually focusing on the cancer. That's what you're advocating for. And if that's your solution to this, we're fucked.